Hi everyone, it's really late at night right now, so please ignore any mistakes or if I start ranting because I'm in a messed up situation. I, 18F, have an older sister, 24F, and she's the golden child for my parents. Full disclosure, I don't think my parents even wanted to have me, and they've always made it a point to make me feel ignored and unwanted. I was always the less important kid, and they would discourage me from doing anything that would steal the limelight from my sister. My sister herself is pretty damn ordinary. I'm going to be blunt and say that she's just not as good as me in any way whatsoever, yet she's the one my parents have always hyped up and supported. I was always better than her in academics, in sports, and just outdid her in every area. I think part of it was because I'm really competitive since I wanted the attention and affection that my parents showered on my sister. But the harder I tried to outdo her, the more they disliked me and called me an attention seeker. By the time I reached high school, I realized nothing I did would make them like me more than my sister. I gave up trying to impress them. I didn't stop outperforming my sister, though. I was still scoring well and taking part in sports and stuff, but now the only difference was that I was doing it for myself and my future, not for my parents. I'd say my sister was also jealous of me and enjoyed the attention my parents gave her. Naturally, she couldn't stand it when she realized everyone apart from our parents could clearly see who the better sibling was. I put in my best effort to make her my friend, but she was always too full of herself to even consider being nice to me. By the time it was time for me to go to college, I wasn't on good terms with anyone in my family. By the time I was off to college, I think we were all relieved to get rid of each other. I started college 2 years back, and I'm a business major because I've always fancied myself as an entrepreneur. I don't have to pay the full tuition either because I got a scholarship. Whatever amount I do have to pay is covered by my best friend's dad. My best friend is well aware of my family situation and knows they would never give me any money if it meant I could do better in life than my sister. Her dad stepped up and paid for my spot so I wouldn't have to ask my parents for money or get a student loan. 60% of my tuition has been waived because of the scholarship anyway, so it's not a lot of money for him to spend. I'm still grateful to him. I obviously plan on returning the money to him eventually when I can, but for now, he's the one handling my education as well as his daughters. They're really rich, unlike my own family, so it's not a problem for them. I'm really lucky they're so generous, unlike my parents. My parents think I'm studying here for free because I told them that 100% of my tuition would be waived, and they were greatly relieved since they wouldn't have to spend a dime on my education and could continue spoiling my sister. I'm also working a part-time job as a tutor to cover other expenses, and I get by somehow. I live frugally, but since my accommodation and food are taken care of by the college because I live on campus, I don't have much to worry about. My family is not very financially stable. My parents already had to mortgage all their jewelry and my grandpa's house 4 years ago to fund their textile business. While it helped a little, they're still not doing as well as they'd like. They don't let me have a say or advise them either, so I can't help them. I used to be really paranoid about their debts until I read somewhere that, since I'm not a co-signer on their debts, I wouldn't inherit them either. Since then, I've stopped caring because they don't want my help, and I don't want to waste my time helping people who don't respect me or my business acumen. Yesterday, however, I received a call from my parents in the afternoon. They told me my sister was in trouble, and so were they, and they needed my help to bail them out of it. Apparently, my parents mortgaged the house they currently reside in almost a year ago to fund my sister's bakery. My sister had no idea how to run a business since she'd never gone to college, and neither was she good at baking. I have no idea why any of them thought it was a good idea. They'd never told me about the loan, and I wasn't interested in where they got the money from to help her start her business, so I never found out about the mortgage until they told me themselves. Now, they demanded I come back and help them handle all their accounts and run their business because my sister had to shut hers down since it wasn't making any money. They wanted me to start working full-time so that I could contribute to the family, bail them out, and join the family business to manage it. They actually expected me to quit college to do all of this and said it to me in a very matter-of-fact tone, as if this was a normal demand to make. When I asked why I would quit college for their sake, they told me that, as a member of this family, I owed it to them. They said I wouldn't be able to go to college, run the family business, and work a second job all at once. They insisted I had to quit one thing, and they thought college was the most obvious option since it required me to stay away from home anyway and would be one less obstacle in my way. I was speechless that they were saying all of that so casually, as if they weren't just asking me to sacrifice my future because of their poor decisions and inability to manage their money. I lost it while my dad was telling me that my sister needed my help and, if I didn't want to lose my home, I needed to come back right away and get to work. The sheer audacity got under my skin, and I ended up telling him I didn't owe them anything. I said what happened to him, my mom, or my sister was none of my business because I didn't consider them family anymore. They'd never treated me like family and had always made me feel bad about myself. Now, when they needed my help, they wanted to play happy family all of a sudden. When my dad argued that I could at least come back for the sake of the place I'd called home for 20 years, I told him that place was never my home. It was just a house to me. That's what I told him before disconnecting the call and blocking my family everywhere. I had kept in touch with them because I hoped someday they'd change, But it was clear to me now that day would never come, and I was sick of waiting for them to be decent people. I was in a horrible mood the entire day. I didn't attend any classes, nor did I speak to anyone, because I was feeling a lot of things all at once. I felt really angry that my parents not only wanted but even expected me to give up my future and my dreams because of their stupidity. Honestly, I felt weirdly guilty for turning my back on them, knowing I could help them. Update 1. Hi everyone. I don't know where exactly to begin, but I really just want to thank everyone who validated my feelings and reassured me that I wasn't being selfish here. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I don't know why my parents would even think I'd do what they asked after all they put me through. I can't believe I skipped an entire day of classes because of their nonsense. That's the part 1 regret the most right now. It's been 3 days since then, and I haven't heard from them yet. I don't know what they're up to, and I don't care either as long as they don't bother me again. I have a lot to worry about already and don't need more on my plate. I told my best friend, Clara, about what my parents told me. She's honestly so sweet and immediately offered to help me out. But I told her I was all right and didn't need any financial help right now. The only thing I wanted from her was emotional support and reassurance that everything would be okay because, honestly, my mental health had taken a dive after that day. It's not my family I'm worried about. It's myself. I probably won't have a home to go back to once I'm out of college. Even though I know my friends would be willing to help me out, I don't want to constantly rely on them. I know I'll have to work twice as hard now to graduate at the top of my class and land a good job as soon as I can. I've been driving myself crazy with anxiety about the future, and I can't seem to stop, even though I know all I can do is give my best. I just wish my family wasn't awful like this. Update 2. It's been a few weeks since my parents showed up at my college, and a lot has happened since. After they left that day, I decided to file for a restraining order against them. My best friend and her father put me in touch with their family lawyer, and we've been working on the paperwork ever since. That encounter with my parents really shook me, and I've realized that I can't let them keep coming back into my life whenever it suits them. They only show up when they need something, and they've made it clear time and again that they don't care about my well-being. The lawyer was incredibly understanding and has been helping me navigate this process. The biggest breakthrough was finally talking to a therapist. My best friend practically dragged me to my first session, and I'm grateful she did. I've been attending therapy twice a week, and it's helping me process all the years of resentment, hurt, and anxiety I've been carrying because of my family. For the first time, I feel like I'm on a path to healing. My parents haven't tried to contact me since their last visit, but I'm not taking any chances. The restraining order is my way of taking back control of my life. I've also decided to look into legally emancipating myself from them entirely. It's a big step, but it feels like the right one. In the meantime, I've been throwing myself into my studies and part-time work. I want to make sure I have a stable future once I graduate. My best friend and her dad have been incredibly supportive, and I'm constantly reminded of how lucky I am to have them in my corner. I'm not going to lie. This has been one of the hardest periods of my life, but every day, I feel a little bit stronger and a little more sure of my decision to cut ties with my family. They've shown me who they are, and now it's time for me to focus on who I want to be. For now, I'm hopeful that things will get better from here on out. Update 3. A lot has happened since I last wrote, and I think this will be the final chapter in my story regarding my family. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, but I feel like I'm finally in a place where I can move forward with my life. After consulting with the lawyer my best friend's father arranged for me, we successfully filed the restraining order. My parents were served a couple of weeks ago, and while I expected some sort of retaliation, I haven't heard a word from them since. I don't know if it's because they're ashamed or because they're too preoccupied with their financial troubles, but their silence has been a relief. The lawyer assured me that the restraining order would protect me from any further harassment. If they show up again, I can immediately contact the authorities. Knowing I have this safety net has done wonders for my peace of mind. In addition to the restraining order, I've begun the process of legally emancipating myself from my parents. It's a long road, but I'm committed to seeing it through. The lawyer explained that this would officially sever all ties, including any financial or legal obligations they might try to impose on me in the future. I feel a sense of empowerment knowing that I'm taking concrete steps to protect myself and secure my independence. It's also been cathartic to take control of a situation that has caused me so much pain over the years. Therapy has been a game changer for me. I've come to understand that my parents' actions were never about me. They were about their own insecurities and inability to manage their lives. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it helps me let go of the guilt I've been carrying for not being enough for them. I've started focusing on building my self-esteem and setting boundaries, not just with my parents but in all areas of my life. It's been a tough process, but I'm starting to feel lighter, freer, and more in control of my own happiness. My best friend and her family have been my rock through all of this. Her dad continues to support me both emotionally and financially, and I've made it clear that I plan to repay him once I'm financially stable. My best friend is still my biggest cheerleader, and her constant presence reminds me that I'm not alone. Even the couple who owns the diner has been incredibly kind. They check in on me whenever I visit, and their small acts of kindness remind me that there are good people in the world, even when my own family has let me down. I've doubled down on my studies and part-time job, determined to graduate at the top of my class and secure a stable future. I've also started exploring internship opportunities to gain experience in the business world. My dream of becoming an entrepreneur feels more attainable than ever, and I'm excited about the possibilities ahead. I've made peace with the fact that my relationship with my parents is unlikely to ever improve. I don't hate them, I just accept that they are who they are and I can't change that. What I can change is how I respond to their behavior and how I choose to live my life moving forward. For anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, my advice is this: prioritize yourself. It's not selfish to put your well-being first, especially when the people around you refuse to respect you. You deserve love, kindness, and support. And if you can't find that in your family, you can build your own chosen family. This is the end of this chapter of my life. I'm moving forward with hope, determination, and the support of people who truly care about me. Thank you to everyone who offered kind words and validation. It meant more than you'll ever know. Here's to a brighter future.